Hello, it's Yom Ha'atzmaut today. Happy 77th birthday to Israel. Yesterday was Yom HaZikaron, which was Memorial Day for all the fallen soldiers and all the victims of terror. So we were having some intense days here. Yesterday were major, and today even continuing, major fires ravaging throughout the country, but especially the connecting cities, like the cities surrounding Jerusalem and the connecting cities between Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, Beit Shemesh area, and the highway, like the whole main highway connecting Jerusalem to Tel Aviv was shut down yesterday. People had to leave their cars on the highway and run, and there were Hatzalah people coming all over the place. It was like a bit of a scary reminder of that terrible day on October 7th, where just like all these cars were piling up on the highway, and all these Hatzalah workers had to come and try and see if there's anybody left to save. And it was insane. I mean, thank God not too many people were hurt. I think a few people were lightly injured, but there was a lot of symbolism there. And people were talking about the fact that it symbolizes the strife among the Jewish people right now between left and right politically, and between the national religious and the Haredi. Jews in Israel, brothers, and that highway, that main highway that's supposed to connect the cities, was blocked and was shut down. And, everybody was like taking upon themselves, like we were davening and we're praying for the safety of the firefighters and for the Jewish people that were being evacuated from their homes. And it's interesting that when you, it's like amazing when you focus on what Hashem is trying to tell you. There is a message. Everything that happens is there to teach you something. And so people were trying to derive all kinds of messages, and whether or not they reached the right conclusion or whatever, it was amazing because everybody was saying Tehillim and everybody was praying for the safety, and they were starting to really take the message to heart. And like people were saying, we're accepting upon ourselves to remove the fire from within our own selves, and that we should start being empathetic and start being loving of every single Jew and see their soul. And even though we don't agree with them, we accept upon ourselves, and in this merit the fires will stop and the fires won't hurt anybody. Anyway, it was kind of crazy, and it's continuing actually, but thank God I think the highway is open now and it's cleared and we're gaining control. Of course, just by the way, it seems to be arson. It's a terror attack. Like there are 18 people who were apprehended and suspected of starting these fires and putting up on social media to start the fires, like the Arab community and terrorists. It's terrorists, okay? For every reason that they had to do this on Yom HaZikaron, on Memorial Day, leading up to Yom Ha'atzmaut, to this Independence Day. So anyway, point is, what is my point? My point is like this. Sometimes we just have to take a message from what Hashem is doing. And in this week's Parsha, we have it's a weird Parsha. These two Parshas, Tazria and Metzora, talk about this affliction, this ridiculous affliction that was called tzaraat. It's called leprosy, but it's a spiritual disease. And sometimes the affliction would actually come upon a person's house. Sometimes they would see these weird blemishes on their clothing, right? Like talk about like stains on your clothing that do not come out. You finally realize this is something spiritual, mystical. And then at some point they would actually afflict the person himself. It would be like a skin affliction. And it's interesting because the Aramaic translation to the tzaraat, nega tzaraat, this person would have these, like, I don't know what they were called, like they would look like blisters or something on their skin, and it wouldn't seem to go away, and he would have to be brought to the Kohen. It was some kind of a spiritual disease that came either for Lashon Hara. Lashon Hara is only one of the 7 sins that a person would do that would, sort of manifest itself in this affliction, the punishment for which manifested itself in these afflictions. And he would be brought, it says, V'huva el HaKohen, he would be brought by his friends to the Kohen. It's weird. Like, why didn't he just go by himself? So it seems like the translation in Aramaic of the nega tzara'at, of this affliction of leprosy, is called in Aramaic machtesh sagiru, which means a disease of closed, a closed disease. Machala shel sgirut. It's closed up. It's totally closed-minded almost. And it says in the Zohar, okay, listen up. It's Aramaic. I'll translate, don't worry. Nega hudina tkifa. If you have this nega, this affliction, it's like very harsh justice, judgment. Sharia ba'alma, when there's harsh judgment that is existing in the world. Tzara'at sagiru, kemad atmar sagiru de nahora ila'a. A person would get this tzara'at, this nega, this affliction, and it's a closed affliction. It is closed off to all light and all blessing. Sgiru detivu ila'a. Hainu she'neulim befanav, locked or blocked are all the gates of light and of blessing and all the godly blessings. So this person is blocked off from all abundance from Hashem, from all light. And he's so blocked off because as a result of all these sins that he's done, he's kind of like closed himself off from any open understanding of Hashem and what the world is and what he's supposed to be doing in this world. He's completely closed. So much so that he doesn't even realize that there's anything wrong. And he doesn't understand. And he saw those stains on his wall and he was like, whatever. It's just a coincidence. I don't know. I guess I have some mold in my house. I just have to do some water damage control or whatever. And then he sees these stains on his clothing and he's like, gosh, what's wrong with the washing machine? Like he did not take the message. And even when he's afflicted on his body, he does not get the message. And so his friends have to take him to the Kohen. Now, who is the Kohen? We saw last week that there is Birkat Kohanim. The Kohen is the symbol of love and chesed. And you have to take this person who is very closed-minded and closed off from understanding Hashem, from seeing Hashem. His emunah is lacking. He does not get the message that he's on the wrong path. And it's like Hashem is like, okay, so your friends can take you. You don't have to go by yourself, but somebody has to get this guy up and bring him to the Kohen, who is the teacher, who can bring you back to the sense of purpose and meaning and emunah and just like love. And understand that Hashem loves you. And he's not doing this just to afflict you or just to give you a punishment. This is to teach you a lesson. And I think this is what we have to learn with all of this. And what is the lesson? How do you get out of it? It's like, Hashem doesn't give up on anybody. He doesn't give up on this person, even though this person is so far and has done so many serious sins. It's like, it's not only Lashon Hara, it's also like murder is a possibility and sexual, like different immorality, like all these different things that he did. Shvichut damim, gilui arayot, gasut ruach, a terrible arrogance. This guy is so far gone, he can't even get himself up to the Kohen. He doesn't even understand there's something wrong with him. But Hashem is always looking to save him from that situation. And he's giving him a message. He's sending him a nega, sending him a God forbid, an attack or something, so that he should get the message and he should come back to the teachers, to his friends. There's this idea that once you're connected to your friends and your friends are understanding that there is a deeper message here, then your friends will pray for you. Oh, this is amazing. Actually, I saw on somebody's status, on somebody's Instagram, I think it was a status, she said that there's a teaching from the Baal Shem Tov on this actual parsha, that when the Mitzorah, when this leper gets brought to the Kohen and the Kohen says, listen, you need to close yourself off. You need to go away from people because you're in such a bad condition that it's amok min ha'or. You have this affliction and it's under the skin. It's like from something really, really deep. It's not even just a skin affliction. It's deeper than that. It's like there's a major infection going on. And it's not even an infection, it's even worse than that. Like sometimes you could have bruises on your arm and it's from something very bad. It could be from like a leukemia or a lymphoma or something that is causing even a whole blood problem that you might need a bone marrow transplant in order to fix. It's not a joke. Like, it's not enough. I can't just give you a cream and it'll go away. So he sees this person is in such a bad condition, and he says, you need to go out of the camp for 7 days. You can't be among people because your Metzora, which is the leper, is actually Motzira. You have like bad coming out of you. It's like so spreading. It's like a contagious disease. You need to get away from people. So this person has to go out of the camp, and he has to actually call out, Tameh, Tameh, I'm impure. And it's like a wild concept. So what did this person write on the status? That the Baal Shem Tov says about these words that this poor man has to say, Tameh, Tameh, I'm impure. Like he's sort of calling it out to everybody. And it's so embarrassing. It feels like it's so embarrassing. But the Baal Shem Tov says, no, it's not embarrassing. It's so that you will tell people that they should pray for you, that they should pray and they should have compassion on you and empathy and feel your pain. And as soon as your friends and people around you and the whole public and everybody sees your pain, they pray for you. And that prayer is so powerful and so beneficial that you end up receiving a ton of spiritual energy, good, positive vibes and energy. And those vibes and energy also awaken Hashem's abundance and Hashem's compassion on you. Because if people have compassion on you, you also awaken Hashem's compassion, and that compassion comes back to you, to that person who awakened all this energy from below. So as a result of that, you will experience a tremendous amount of abundance and spiritual positivity and become, you'll end up returning to Hashem and coming back to Hashem in tshuva. And she brought the status to say that she was bringing this comment to say that as a result of the fires, there's a very interesting Kabbalistic phenomenon that after a fire, if somebody has a fire in their house, God forbid, right afterwards, there's a tremendous amount of financial abundance, physical, materialistic, or financial abundance. And it's a strange thing. Like, why does that happen? So the Baal Shem Tov says that that's what happens when you have a fire in your house. It causes so many people to daven for you and to feel terrible for what happened to you, that they pray for your success and they pray that you will somehow fill that void that was created by the fire. So she was saying that what happened yesterday with these fires everywhere, and if people can take that message and first of all, daven, pray. Like, that's what you guys can do. You're outside of Israel. If you are outside of Israel, I mean, even I in Jerusalem don't feel it as much. And I was saying so much to Helen yesterday that God forbid nobody should be hurt. And that everybody who was evacuated should be able to like find a certain level of comfort and physically not be hurt and not lose their possessions and so on. So when you do that, when all these people all around the world and everybody prays for Israel, that's amazing, because that is going to awaken a tremendous abundance from Hashem, compassion from Hashem, and that will fill our what do I call it? Like water, like our reservoirs of compassion and mercy, and really bring to a full geula. So even though we have this Independence Day, and it's very bittersweet because we still have 59 hostages, and we know that 24 of them should be alive, but we know they're suffering. And if we feel all this strife and all this tension, and it's just a lot of sadness along with the happiness. Yes, of course, we're so grateful that Hashem gave us a state, a country, and we are experiencing so many miracles. But if we can take a minute and just learn the message of the fire, pray for our fellow man, pray for anybody, not only, the people who are being affected by the fires, but also for our fellow man, for our fellow Jew, even if we don't agree with them philosophically or politically or whatever. Let's try to have compassion, and that compassion will bring down compassion from Hashem bring the full redemption, bring the hostages back, allow us to win a complete victory in our war against our enemies. And that's my bracha for everybody. So have a good Shabbos and a happy Independence Day. And remember to join my YouTube channel. Also follow me on Instagram, Reconnection Trips. And I'll soon be talking about my next trip coming up in November. And we could talk about that, and you can join that. And only good things for we can have Emunah and Torah for the busy Jewish woman. Have a good Shabbos.